Hello, Alan.
Hello, Myf. How are you?
I am good. Yeah.
You're looking very tanned.
Very tan for someone who's been in isolation for 2 months. Yes, you're right.
That was what I was thinking, unless you have one of those illegal sunbeds in your house.
Well, I do, but no, I've got Eurovision this week. So we're heading up on the bus, which we've been talking about, heading up on the bus very soon. And I've had to give myself a little bit of I'm doing home beauty now that we're stuck at home. I haven't done anything with my hair, but that's fine. Unlike yours, which looks fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
I've given myself some fake tan.
Yeah.
So I'll wash it off before I get on the bus. But
wait a minute, you wash it off?
yeah, it's got to set into your skin. It's some horrific chemical that sets into your skin, changes the colour of it.
Oh my God!
And then I'll wash it off before I get on the bus.
And when you wash it off, that just leaves a slightly darker pigment in your skin.
And then
how long does it last for?
Not very long, only about 4 or 5 days usually. But you look like, you've been on a tropical island holiday, of which I'm a fan of, and won't be going on for a long, long time. So, and I feel like that's relevant for Eurovision. It's big hair, it's glamour, it's all of that. So I felt like I had to step it up.
I think it's extremely relevant. They all have tans. Like when you see the person from Iceland, you go, where did you get your tan in Iceland exactly? Have you ever had one of those fake tans? I've only heard about this, where you basically stand in paper undies and they spray you with a spray gun.
Oh, that's a spray tan. Yes. I've had many of those. Many. Welcome to our world. If you've got an event and you want to get a little bit like you've been out in the sun, you go in and you get sprayed. It's a bit confronting at first. I don't wear the paper undies, just FYI. I wear my own. I'm quite happy with that.
Oh, so have you got special fake tan undies that have just got fake tan all over them?
No, I don't, but I should.
I'm sure people have. Well, so that's what you do before you go out to a thing. No wonder I don't get invited to things. I don't put enough effort in.
Not enough effort, Alan. Although your hair's looking good. How's it panning out?
Oh, it's panning out all right, actually. I'm quite enjoying it. The top knot's coming on, but there's not. I was insulted by a child yesterday. We went to briefly to the school library. They open it briefly, and so I've left it out for a while. But
what did they say?
Oh, they just said you look ridiculous. And I felt I'm very. It's very kindly. My daughter is yelling from the other room. No, you didn't. That's not.
We can't hear.
Oh, yes, we can't. I'm being told I've quoted the offending child wrongly.
Oh, a misquote from an 8-year-old.
Yeah, a misquote. So now look, just one more. I'd like to talk about home beauty because I was watching this hilarious makeup tutorial yesterday on YouTube. Yeah. Where, Vic Reeves from Reeves and Mortimer.
Yeah.
Well, his wife, Jane, I think it is an ex-model, and she does makeup tutorials, and she did a makeup tutorial on Vic, and then we watched one where he did a makeup tutorial on her, and it was really great. So I want to ask you about, because you said home beauty, and I'm feeling pretty dowdy at the moment, so I need to push myself up. But I just wanted to know, is it appropriate to get a fake tan before a funeral?
Probably not. Look, I love the idea. I love the spirit of warmth that you bring, that a little bit of spray tan will give a body, but it's probably best to go with something a little more. Maybe just leave yourself natural for that one. But each to their own, I say. Do what you want, do what you want.
In the 80s, I DJ'd at a nightclub, and it had a Z at the end of it, I imagine.
Of course.
And like shadows or, I don't know, any word with just add, it might have been called Smiths. Yeah, so it used to be called
Alan.
Smiths. Yeah, so I think there's one in Mildura with a Z on it. I think we went to it.
We did go to it. Remember that night we went to that? No, that used to be called the Carlisle Club when I was of a very young legal age, that I used to go to that. It was Carlisle. So that was kind of real smooth and sort of early 90s. I reckon, but I'm sure it did at some point have a Z in its name. It would have, like Risky Business or something like that.
The Carlisle Club sounds like a over 60s sex/bondage establishment. Very properly, sir. The Carlisle Club. I'll come back disciplined.
Sadly,
there was the woman who worked the door at this nightclub was orange all the time.
24/7 round the clock, tanning.
Fake tan. And I didn't know. I didn't know anything about fake tan, really.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I saw her, I just thought she must be very ill. And I thought it was great that she was still turning up for work.
What did you say that to her?
Well, I didn't say anything to her because she was just so intimidating. She had giant blonde hair and wore leather bustier top.
Oh, she sounds fabulous.
Oh, she was, and they were white, and she wore like bubblegum jeans and really high heels.
Oh. She sounds like who I wanted to be in the 80s. She sounds unreal.
Her name was Chanel or Siobhan or something like that. Chanel. Oh, what a great, not only a great name, but a wonderful fabric.
And a wonderful bedspread.
It really retains the stains, chenille, and so you can really see the history of a motel when you go into it. I mean, it's no Candlewick myth. No, it is still nice.
What are we doing? Last week we were talking about Jute, and this week it's Chanel. This week's chat brought to you by Chanel.
That's what no one knows, is that last week we were just secretly spruiking for Big Jute. So the Big Jute industry is sponsoring us. And now Big Chanel, or, Big Polyester has called up and said, can do the same for Chanel and give Candlewick a shout out.
Yeah, imagine though, our homes could be filled with product of all the things if we keep going down this track, Alan.
Yeah.
Do a bit of SponCon with Chanel.
SponCon, what's that?
Sponsored content. That's where you kind of edge in some content that they might offer us a couple of Chanel bedspreads, who knows, or perhaps some Jute handbags. We don't know if there is even such a thing. And a little bit of sponsored content, SponCon.
SponCon. I love that. It just sounds to me like a convention for people who enjoy sponges too much. But imagine that. Imagine if that was your thing. Like someone comes into the bathroom one time in your share house and you're up to your apricots in a sponge, and it would be so difficult to explain. So, Myf, home beauty tips.
Yes.
What have you got?
What have I got? I've done a pedicure on myself with a bucket of warm water, where you put your feet in the bucket of warm water and then you let it soak for ages to get all those dry sort of skin cells soft, and then you get I bought a pumice stone and you pumice all the cracked bits on the corners of your heels. So that's good. You can do that. You can do a bit of home spray tanning without the spray.
Yeah.
What else am I doing? I'm not very high maintenance beauty-wise, but I've been doing my nails and my toenails. Oh no, that's at the bottom of my foot. Oh, there you go. See? I've done a bit.
My girlfriend asked me to go and get toe separators so that she could do a pedicure for herself. I couldn't find any anywhere. So everyone must be at home doing their nails and toes.
Nails and toes. How are yours looking? You would have talons by now, wouldn't you, if you haven't looked at them for a while?
I pick mine. It's really, I would love to be one of those people who, when they got a bit older, went, you know what? I should start looking after myself better. I just have looked after myself with the same medium level of confidence for my entire life. And I've never really expected, I don't wear a lot of open toe shoes.
Yeah.
If I wore more open toe shoes, I imagine I would care more about my toes. I've just never been one of those people who, before they say go out to a funeral, say, oh, someone might miss my nails, I better get them done. Yes.
No. And this doesn't really generally fall on the gentleman. They don't bother so much. But look, I figure you in jandals and jorts could be a new thing for you if you could take up the pedicure as a lifestyle option, Alan.
Well, look, I must admit, Myf, that I went round to the corner shop, and the corner shop round is one of the most bizarre corner shops I've ever experienced. It has an opening hours sign, and they just have used that as a guide for when they're not going to be open. And they've got one of those clocks, you know, when you're like back in 5-minute clocks or when opening clocks. But the thing is, it's not like a 24-hour clock. So it's 9 o'clock and it's 9 o'clock in the morning and you're there to get the newspaper and they're not open and you think, oh, it's probably 9 p.m. And you go in and they have like 5 different sorts of cheese. They have 5 different sorts of cheeses, but no crackers or bread or butter. It's a very, very odd place. The staff are very...
Is this just a local shop for local people?
Yeah, it is a local shop for local people. So, well, no, it's not. It's a shop for not really anybody. Like if you like binge cheese eating or not being able to buy full-fat milk, this is the place for you.
Is it a money laundering joint? Is that what they're doing? They've just got weird gear that they put out there in order to make it look like a shop, but it's not really a shop?
I never thought of that. They have a lot of frozen pies.
Well, it could come in handy, I guess. But
I suppose you could smuggle drugs in a frozen pie.
You could. You absolutely could.
If anyone out there has ever smuggled drugs in a frozen pie, please communicate that to us on one of the social media platforms.
That would be lovely.
Yeah.
Well, someone has, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I mean, really, I mean, there's everything is in there anyway. It's, what do they call it? Lips and assholes.
Oh, man, what a great name for a home beauty tutorial. Lips and assholes.
So many layers of meaning.
Layers. Now, as with home beauty, do you do things like make your own soap, or
No. Oh, look, I should, and I do have friends who are now making their own washing powder online by scraping down soap and putting in some other ingredients and essential oils and that kind of thing. I've got no time for that, Alan. No time at all. So no, I don't. All I do, and I am the most minimal of home beauty people, all it is nails and toes, the occasional spray tan, and that's it. Pretty much. I'm lazy, and I put in the effort only when I have to. So I figured this is when I have to.
Well, you're onto a really good wicket because you never look lazy.
Oh, that's good.
Whenever I see you, you always look absolutely immaculate.
Oh, thank you, Alan. That's lovely because I never think that about myself.
From you.
I never think that about myself. I always look at other people's hair and go, how do they get their hair like that? Why do their clothes look so crisp and nice and mine just look a bit dowdy? You know, you always think of yourself in a different way.
Yes, well, that's why I don't like, I never like seeing images of myself because to get through life, you normally have to construct an image of yourself that is acceptable, but not overly exciting. And whenever I see myself, I go, oh dear, that's not how I wanted it to be. And that's all right. That happens to a lot of people.
Yeah, look, it happens to me too. I when I look at myself, it's like a completely different thing to what I think I look like. Yeah, and it's really disconcerting. And then you go, well, people seem to like me, so how does that sort of fit in with who I think I am and who they think I am? It's like I discovered really early on when I was doing comedy that when you tell a joke, hardly anyone's laughing at it for the reason that you thought it was funny when you wrote it. Yeah, people will come up to you and say, oh, that thing you did, and they'll tell you the bit. But they've got it completely wrong, but they've still found it funny. Like the meaning that they have taken from it is completely different to the meaning that you intended. Now, sometimes the meaning was just farts. Yeah, which are always funny, Alan, always.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. When I was younger, I wanted to do complex comedy about social issues, and no one gave a shit. But
now you've worked it out. It's all about farts.
It's all about farts. In fact, this musical that I've written for kids that unfortunately got postponed has got a whole song called I Fart When I'm Scared. And,
Oh,
yeah,
can I hear it? Can you give us a little, just some of the lyrics, perhaps?
Oh, okay. So wait a minute. He's the character Charlie is trapped in a wardrobe.
Yeah.
And there are two evil grannies outside the wardrobe, and he's absolutely sure that they're going to get eaten. And the first chorus is one of the lines is he farts when he's scared, when shove comes to push, horrible gases gush out his tush. So it's real classy. So
Is it like a swing jazz song?
yeah. It starts off slow, and then it's a bit like, hey, thanks for coming. Yeah, I'm here all week. Yeah, I never knew Frank Sinatra.
Oh, my finger.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Hey, so speaking of music, it's almost Eurovision time.
Yeah, we're about to get on the bus. We're doing our socially distant travel together, just Joel and I. That's it. We're going to get on the bus. I've been to the shops. I've bought wine because it's like a tour bus with beds, and I bought wine and I bought all the essentials. Oh look, this not SponCon, but I'd be quite happy if Twisties and Cheezels wanted to sponsor this. Barbecue shapes.
They're so great. They're like the crack cocaine of snacks. Barbecue shapes.
I know.
You have one, and the next thing you wake up in a shop and you're just shoveling them into your mouth.
Where do you stand on the barbecue shape? Because I remember about 15 years ago, it seems they got a lot less of the green herb and put a lot more of the tomato flavour on. And I've just kind of never been able to love the barbecue shape like I used to. I feel like the green herb might have had something in it, a little bit like Coca-Cola back in the early days. Might have been something a little bit special in it that they had to get rid of because they changed the laws, because they used to be so good. And now you get all the red stuff and not much green.
So you think they were like the hash cookies of tiny snack biscuits?
Possibly. Who knows? That and TV snacks. Or tiny teddies.
Tiny teddies. You can really tell a lot about a person about which bit they bite off first.
Of a tiny teddy?
Yeah.
What do you bite off?
The leg.
What does that mean? Is this like being a Taurus with Gemini rising or whatever the hell that means?
It's really. I think it shows I have a lot of problems, because what I think I'm doing is I'm giving them some time to live before I bite the head off. But what I've really done is amputated one of their limbs without anaesthetic, and then I'm just staring at them. Or sometimes I don't even pay any attention to them. Like, they're in pain and I'm looking at the TV, and the next thing they're all in the mouth.
Slow, painful death. You've offered it a slow, painful death as opposed to a quick one.
Well, this is the thing. And I think that people that bite the heads off are misunderstood, because they've just looked at the teddy and they've gone, oh mate. And the teddy,
I've never thought about this before. Never.
The teddy's not feeling any pain. And I mean, what if the teddy thought it had an amazing career ahead of it as a footballer, and I just bite off one of its legs? Like, not only is it in physical pain, but it's in spiritual torment, because it goes, I was going to be the next chocolatey Pele, but now I'm dying. And I've been forced to live in close proximity with all these people in this packet.
Alan, I felt so emotional about a tiny teddy.
I wonder if the tiny teddies are socially distancing. Like, if you open up the box of tiny teddies and there's only two of them in there and they're in opposing corners.
It'd be like it's like a kind of, I don't think they know how to socially distance the tiny teddy. It's like kind of like an orgy in there, isn't it? It's an orgy of tiny teddies. That's a collective noun.
So you're going on this. So you've got Cheezels, you've got Twisties, you've got barbecue shapes, you've got wine.
Yep.
And there's beds. Do you know who's driving you?
We've got a driver. I don't know his name or her name yet, but we'll find out when I meet them, when they pull up out the front of the house in the bus. Tour bus coming via the house.
Oh my God, Myf, that you are going to be the talk of your street.
Oh, I know. They'll go, what is happening? What is she doing? I'll probably get dobbed in, actually, for, I don't know, non-essential travel. It doesn't look very essential in a tour bus, does it? It looks like a fun time.
I wonder if it's got like tinted windows so you can't see in. They'll think you're doing something top secret.
Yes. Oh, yes. Something for the government, perhaps.
If Joel Creasy is standing on the top of it, waving a rainbow flag and shouting Eurovision, then maybe there will be a perception that it is non-essential. But there are many people in Australia who think Eurovision is essential. And during this time of anxiety and inwardness and being isolated after a fashion, Eurovision is almost a public service.
Absolutely. And SBS is an essential broadcaster, so that's all fine. But, you know, people might get the wrong idea because of the bus. But it is actually that we're doing our best to be socially distancing while travelling for our essential work, which is, you're right, I think everyone needs a bit of Eurovision ridiculousness because it's been so weird and full on, and it's harder and harder to have that kind of collective experience that we can all enjoy together.
Yeah.
You know, people are watching shows like MasterChef in huge numbers for that very reason, because where they might not have watched it or dropped off from the last couple of seasons, they're watching them now because they offer an opportunity to have something in common with somebody else and we can talk about it, and because there's not much else going on. So I reckon Eurovision it won't be Eurovision, but it'll be very much in the spirit of it. It'll be the clips of the artists and that kind of thing, and a kind of a countdown from Australia's votes. And so hopefully it won't quite be Eurovision, but it'll be lots of fun. And quite frankly, I'm so happy to be out and working. It's amazing. Who knew you would ever say that? Who knew you would ever say it? Happy to go. I'm happy to be out and working.
And the thing is, I only have one slight concern.
Yeah.
You will want to share your snacks with Joel.
Yes.
How is that going to work? Because you don't want to be throwing the packets around, because then there's just going to be stuff everywhere.
Ah, that's good point. I think separate bowls for cheesels. No fingering of cheesels.
No.
No fingering of cheesels from the box.
No. Yeah, people who just plunge their hands in and hope they come out with 5.
Yeah.
And you just think, no, leave my box alone. Do not finger my cheesel box. I said that on...
I don't think I was ever going to finger my cheesel box anyway, but, you know.
I don't know why, but I just saw the cover of a book of essays by you, Myf Warhurst, called Don't Finger My Cheesel Box. And I've seen the image on the cover, which is a giant hand trying to get into a box of cheesels, and you're in the box of cheesels and you're fending it off. But I had to say that to you because it just... I
like it. We came up with a book title last week. I've forgotten it, but it was good. And this one's another one I can put down for the collection of short works.
Yeah, shorter works. Yeah, the shorter works of Myf Warhurst.
Yeah.
Please don't finger my cheesel box.
Get it in your own backyard.
What was it?
Get it in your own backyard.
Get it in your own backyard and don't finger my cheesel box. Okay, good.
Get it in your own backyard.
Yeah. I don't remember what that was for now.
No. One of the things I like about this is sort of equivalent of street art. It's there one day and then it's gone the next day, and it was nice for a while.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't want to go back and go, to get it in your own backyard? What were they even talking about? So, you're driving from Melbourne to...
Sydney.
And
we'll be recording. And then we'll be driving back from Sydney to Melbourne.
It's so glamorous. I just imagine they've got those bunks with the curtains that you pull across.
I hope so.
Oh,
I hope so.
That'll be...
But you know what's going to weird me out? I'm going to think of if it is in fact a one of those rock and roll buses, I'm just a bit worried about and they have to clean it like in an exceptional manner because of what's going on at the moment. But I still won't help thinking that, you know, maybe there's like dandruff of a Rolling Stone in one of the corners or something. Do you think that could happen?
I don't think it would be dandruff because they're all bald.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I think it speaks volumes about what a decent person you are that you went to Dandruff.
I was keeping it nice.
I certainly didn't.
Oh, I can't even think about that, Alan. I cannot even think about that.
Oh, I mean, those bunks are pretty small though. I don't know what you could get up to in those bunks.
Not much. Although you never know. You never know. They're an enterprising lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Musicians.
Yeah, and young people are quite flexible when they're, let's say, when they're relaxed.
Of course.
So how long are you away for?
Just a couple of nights. And then it's done. And yeah, I'm really excited. Like, you know, all these jobs are beautiful that we get to do, and I love working with Joel, but just that added extra bit of being out. And it's funny how just such a small thing means so much right now.
We got our flu jabs a couple of days ago, and we all had to get out of the house by 9 o'clock to get to the doctor. And it felt great to be up and leaving the house at the relatively normal time altogether to go off somewhere.
Do you reckon we'll go back to normal? Do you think we'll go back to the old ways? Or do you think because we've all experienced this different way of not just confining ourselves to a smaller space to time, and whether or not we have to do everything? I mean, schools will go back to regular time, I'm sure, but do you think we'll be a bit more relaxed about all that stuff?
I think so. I think people know their neighbourhoods a bit better. And I think one of the great advantages of this is that when the young kids are a bit more grown up, we'll be able to say to them, 2020, you don't know how easy you've got it. We used to only be able to walk two abreast and not even close to each other.
And we couldn't even sit down on a park bench, Alan.
No, we couldn't even. I had to talk to Myf over Zoom. I'll say, Zoom?
What is Zoom? Then there'll be something else. We'll be broadcasting through our brains via our glasses by then. So Zoom would be like saying a T-model Ford.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it'll be like the rotary phone of communication. You'll give them a laptop and they'll look at it and go, what do I do? Where do I connect it to my ear? Or where
where do I connect it to the chip in my brain?
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be very exciting, Myf, and I look forward to Eurovision. And so we're going to see the clips of all the bands.
Clips of all the artists and the musicians, and there'll be us, and there'll be a few extra special treats. And Montaigne's who won the opportunity to represent Australia, she's going to be performing her song as she would have at Eurovision. So that should be fabulous. I'm excited.
Right.
I get makeup on and a sparkly frock, and I can't tell you what that means to me.
That's one thing I wanted to ask. Do you know what you're wearing?
Yes, I do. I bought these dresses before I even went away to the jungle. I bought some sparkly dresses for Eurovision because I was getting excited. See, I get excited 6 months before the event, and now it's even more reason to be excited.
I just want to say, Myf, that you're probably the most glamorous person that I know, because in that one sentence, you said, before I went to the jungle, I bought some sparkly dresses for Eurovision. I don't know anyone else in the world who would be able to say that. So
you're right.
Have a good time.
Thank you. I will.
And I can't wait till next week when you can tell us all about it.
Oh, mate, we're going to have some stories. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a long time on the road, but a good time.
Yeah, and Joel, if you're watching, keep your fingers out of her cheesel box.
On that note,
See you, buddy.
See ya.